Nafaa ni admit Libea, bring in Libea.
Yo, naona mic yangu haipika kwa lavi.
Ati?
Mic yangu haipika kwa laptop.
Sina kusikia.
Ninakuwa na simu. Unanisikia kwa meet?
I don't know. Like, where am I getting to listen to you? Sijui. Niko confused sasa.
Like, unapata any audio from the ama ni from the audio.
Let me do this. Hi, Polycarp. Can you hear me? Hello. Where is this? Libea, how are you? Hello. Hello, hi Libea. Ama ni mimi? Oh, it's okay. Hello, Libea, can you hear me? Hello.
Hi, Obi. You can hear me? Hello?
Libea, yes.
All right. I think it was a microphone setting, so been able to unlock it.
Yes.
Let me see. Hi, Etiang, how are you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Etiang, you can hear me?
Yeah, I think his mic has a problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so before I start it in 2 minutes, how the session will go is I'll basically do the introduction, the Jipende Jipange program that these people are part of, APN and Jipende Jipange, then introduce you. After your introduction, no, there's a pre-session survey that I need to send to people. I don't know where that will fit in. Can you take them through? So like it's, let me share my screen. So it's this. So this is the survey. So the first question is, how are you feeling today? The next one is, Do you think digital marketing can support the performance of your pharmacy business? The
So
next
they
one is
select on the screen.
no. I'll basically share this on this on while we go on with the meeting.
Okay, so what you'll do, as
Yes.
you'll be the one facilitating, eh?
Yes.
All right, you can just guide them through in the beginning before you introduce me, then I pick up, and
Yes.
then they can be feeling it.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
also at the end of the session, there is also a post-session survey of which, on a scale of 1 to 5, how has the session been? What did you like in the session today? What did you not like? What can we improve? Any other comments?
Okay.
Apart from this, I don't know if there's any other thing. Any other thing that I might have missed, unless unipea recommendation.
Not really. I
Sawa.
think everything is
Polycarp has a mic issue with his laptop. He just texted me via WhatsApp.
okay.
So what I can do, I can just get this, what is it called? The settings, collect responses, shorten the URL for the pre-session so that I can just paste them in the link, and also for the post-session.
How is the time divided?
I want to take the minimal time in the introduction. So minimum 10 minutes.
Okay.
Or less.
Okay.
Wewe ndo unashine na most of the things. So
Okay.
the major bit that I need to take is just the pre-session and the post-session. Apart from that, you're the one to lead, and also the Q&A session. So how did you plan that for your time?
Okay, I think that's okay. I just wanted to know.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay. Can I now bring everyone in?
Yeah.
Okay. Stop sharing. I'll bring everyone in. Hello. Great for everyone to join. Watu wamefunga pharmacy ama pharmacy zimewafunga? Oliver, how are you? Hi, Oliver. Hi, Rita. I'm just pre-selecting from the ones who...
Hello, I can hear you, Mike.
Uko sawa
Are you
bro,
at the...
kwaje?
Uko poa sana. Uko kwa pharmacy ama uko wapi?
Sasa hivi saa za nyumba bwana.
Hi, John. Hi, Nona. Hi, Catherine. Who else am I seeing from here?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Maragia. That is a very new... Never heard of the name. Yeah, so just give me a minute before starting. Yeah, so it's a pleasure for everyone who has joined. I think we can do our we can do our introductions via the chat. Who you are, where you're from. Yes, so yeah, so I'll basically introduce the session, then introduce the speaker. So my name is Dr. Michael. My name is Dr. Michael, and I support the project, the Jipende Jipange project, of which most, if not all of you, are part of. So the Jipende Jipange program is basically it's a project whereby we are meant to support the first of all the growth of the FP method, specifically DMPAC, but at the same time we also want to ensure that the uptake of injectables, including the DMPIM, is good in all pharmacies. So part of this is using social media, of which our doctor will be taking you on, Dr. Libea, at some point in this. So how can you leverage social media, and also the guidelines to be used in using that, as you cannot probably market in some way. Huwezi uza dawa kama njugu in the media. And you know, media now is just like the mass market. So Libea will take on that. So I just want to introduce the organization that In Supply Health is working with. It's actually called African Pharmaceutical Network, which don't know why I have a problem displaying my screen. Let me see. Yes, so In Supply Health currently works with APN. APN is a Pan-African convener and advisory firm that convenes stakeholders for knowledge sharing, policy shaping, and innovation, nurturing partnerships to ensure reliable access to safe, effective, and quality medicines in Africa. So that is basically the introduction. I won't go in depth into it. So the mission is to ensure reliable access to safe, effective, and quality health products and technologies in Africa. And the vision is to ensure a healthy and productive population anchored on reliable access to quality, safe, and effective medicines and health technologies in Africa. So our values are humanity, integrity, professionalism, client value creation, and teamwork. And our services, part of it that we do, we have a pharmacy academy, regulatory service support, the business ecosystem support, of which we are currently doing with the partner pharmacies that In Supply has, and also policy shaping and partnerships too. Yeah, so I think from that, the next thing that I'll do is introduce the survey for majority of you to fill. So let me send the link via this chat. So I think we have 18. If we get all of you to fill, that will be good. I'm also sharing that on screen while I introduce the speaker. So I shared the link in the chat. I don't know if any of you have seen, ama kuna mtu hajaona. Maragi, have you seen that? Oh, I lost him.
Check.
So at the moment, I'm actually sharing also via the screen so that everyone can. So here it is. You can actually scan the QR code. So the next one is I'll introduce my speaker. Don't know if Dr. Bethel is a celebrity or not. Yeah, but he'll actually turn his screen on so that you can put a face on his name. So he's actually a registered pharmacist, medical trainer, health educator, and digital healthcare marketing professional with extensive experience in pharmaceutical sales, learning and development, and digital engagement. He is passionate about advancing healthcare practice and empowering both healthcare professionals and the public through evidence-based education. He is also among the inaugural cohort of pharmacists in Kenya certified as an advanced family planning service provider at the community pharmacy level. So he's actually the best person meant to give you advice and also insights on how you can enhance your digital knowledge on pharma practice here. So going back to this, I think I now have two responses. So you can actually use the QR code if you haven't seen the link, but I'll basically paste it again via the chat as I let Bethwell start. So I think there are two responses that have been submitted, and I can see over here how many people are here. So you can actually see some of the responses. How can digital marketing support your pharmacy? Find online prescriptions, health advice, patient growth, prescriptions, vaccinations, trust people, chats, revenue. Do you think digital marketing for the people who are filled? Yeah, so kindly, if you can, we can all pre-fill this. 3 responses so far. So you can actually use the QR code. Here it is. So 3 responses have been submitted so far. Four so far. Bethel, I think I'll let you in. We can also, you can actually have some icebreakers before you start as people pre-fill this. So you can unmute your mic as you prepare. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Obi. It's an honor and pleasure to be here, and looking forward to having an interactive session, even as you collect the responses. It's a learning journey, and we live in an age of technology where almost everything is shifting online. And so the question then comes to us operating retail pharmacies or even owning retail pharmacies. How do we ensure that we capitalize on this transformation, or where the winds are blowing towards? How do we position our sales in that direction? So we'll be having that conversation, and my belief is that at the end of this session, you'll be somewhere, and we'll see movement and action being taken towards ensuring that our pharmacies get online, become searchable, gain online visibility, and more importantly, that our services get discovered. So that will be the objective of this session, and I believe that you'll be able to learn. I believe you'll be able to learn. Please fill in the form. I see there are 23 of us, only 7 are sent in their responses. Let's fill so that we begin the session. Fill in the form so that we begin the session. The sooner we do that, the better, so that we get moving.
And also, Libya, you can actually see some of the insights that people are looking at. patient growth, increasing foot traffic, find online prescriptions, health advice, vaccinations, awareness.
I
Yeah,
see.
so I think minus me, Libea, and Polycarp, it's like 4 people minus with 7. I kindly, if we can, majority of us can fill the form so that we can have insights. How can digital marketing support your pharmacy? By enhancing awareness of the services, increase client flow, giving medicine information. Digital marketing drives local patient growth. So you can also use the QR code, the form that I just pasted in the chat. I've pasted it twice for either to see. Is anyone having trouble accessing the form? Catherine, Edwin, Charles, Janet. Is anyone having trouble accessing the form? Okay, we can use the next minute so that Libya can start by 7:48. If anyone has trouble accessing the form, so 7 responses so far out of the 20 plus people that are here. So this is a pre-session survey. How are you feeling today? Good, great, good, good. Do you think digital marketing, it helps? How can digital marketing support your pharmacy? So let's use the next 1 minute to fill the form. Meanwhile, on a scale of 1 to 5, how can you rate your competencies, abilities to use digital marketing? Oh yeah, so majority are at the neutral place. Yeah, 1 minute remaining. A few seconds remaining. Hi, Florence. We have just started the session, and yeah, so you are not far off. Currently, we have a pre-session survey going on, of which you are trying to understand uh, uh, how are you feeling today? That is the first one. How do you think digital marketing can support the performance of your pharmacy business? You can respond, how can digital marketing support your pharmacy? You can also respond to that. And also, how can you rate your competencies to use digital marketing to support your pharmacy business? Yeah. So the pre-session survey is there. So I think at the moment you can fill in as I allow Libea to start the session. Thank you.
All right, Obi, thank you so much. Good evening once again. Allow me project my presentation. Please confirm, Obi. You can see my screen.
Yes, I can. Can all other members see Dr. Libea's screen? Florence, Nsebi, Nona, Oliver, can you see Libea's screen? We can actually use an emoji or speak. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Can be seen.
Yeah. Yes, we can see.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And allow me to begin by thanking you for making time to attend this session. I know that you're going to learn something that perhaps you didn't know before, or reinforce a message that already you know, but you haven't put it to action, so that this session acts as a trigger that can make you take the next step in terms of making your business or the pharmacy visible online. And also a big thank you to Obi and the team for organizing this, Dr. Obiero, Mike for organizing this, and also for inviting me to share the little insight I have with regards to this space. As you heard from Dr. my name is Libea Bethwell, and I'm a registered pharmacist. On top of that, I wear two broader caps. One of that of being a medical trainer. I do medical training and capability development in Salesforce at Harris Limited, covering the East African region, just equipping them with the necessary skills, the medical sales representatives, the pharmaceutical sales representative, equipping them with what they need to be able to do what they do effectively in the field. The third cap I put on, that is of a health educator. And by health education, I mean educating the public on safe health practices, and also just building awareness among the public or in the public on about their health, and also just pushing them to take necessary steps that they need to take for them to be healthy. And I do that through videos on my platforms, through a YouTube channel that I run called Health Desk with Dr. Libea. And also the other version is the Medical Hub, where I share content to build capability among healthcare professionals. Those are just a few of the many things that I do. And my professional experience includes pharmaceutical marketing. I've been in the digital communication space. I've been in the healthcare education, which I'm doing currently as well, and the training of pharmaceutical sales teams, which I'm doing currently. That is on product knowledge and also the selling skills. I think it's also important to mention that I was among the inaugural cohort of pharmacists in Kenya who have been certified as advanced family planning service providers at the community pharmacy level. That was back in 2021. I was in the first class that was trained to offer the services, that is DMPSC, to get both subcutaneous and intramuscular, that at the pharmacy level. And today we'll be discussing how pharmacies can build a strong digital presence while maintaining the professional standards that are expected of healthcare providers, because healthcare is not just like any other space. When you're dealing with healthcare and products and technology, health products and technology, you're not dealing with tomatoes or onions or mangoes. You're dealing with products that, if not well handled, it means it puts the health and even the life of an individual at risk. So it's a regulated business, if you may put it that way. And when we hear the words digital presence, of course, we often think, many people, they think about followers, they think about likes, they think about views, they think about social media trends. And those things may be useful, but they are not the ultimate objective. They're not the ultimate objective. And for a pharmacy, a strong digital presence should help people to find the pharmacy, first of all, to locate your pharmacy, to know if your pharmacy exists, to confirm its locations, and of course, the operating hours of your pharmacy as well, and to be able to use your digital footprint to understand the services that you offer. Now, in this case, if you're offering advanced family planning services, they should be able to know when they search for your pharmacy online. And also, they should be able to receive useful health information. And of course, now to contact the pharmacy safely, meaning you've put your contacts there, you've left your email, there's a WhatsApp contact, there's a contact that they can text or even call to be able to reach the pharmacy, and ultimately to develop confidence in the pharmacy team. However, for pharmacy communication, it cannot be approached in exactly the same way as marketing ordinary consumer products, as I've mentioned. It has to be approached differently because we are dealing with medicines in this case, sensitive health information, and of course, decisions that may significantly affect a person's health, as I've mentioned. And our communication as such has to be very accurate. It has to be very ethical. It has to be responsible and confidential. I'll go again on that. The communication that we make through the digital platforms, they have to be accurate, ethical, responsible, and confidential. Nothing short of that. And throughout this session, I want us to ask two main questions. The first question that I want us to ask is, will this activity improve the pharmacy's visibility? Will this activity or the webinar that we are going to have improve the pharmacy's visibility? And secondly, will it protect or potentially damage professional trust? And we'll spend the next couple of minutes on just engaging on practical application of this knowledge. And then at the end of it, we'll have a few minutes for questions and answers. And that will be it. And so if there are any questions, please feel free to interject, drop them in the comment section, and I'll be very much glad to respond to them. And so I want us to begin with a simple question. When people search for your pharmacy online, what do they find? When they type the name of your pharmacy online, what do they find? And whenever I do classes or sessions on personal branding, I normally give people an assignment and ask them, put your full name on Google search and then click the search button. What comes up? The first 10 results. What will people see? The first 10 results about you. And that informs whether or not you need to revamp your online presence. And so same applies to your pharmacy. When you put the name of your pharmacy on Google search, what comes up? And I would like you to rate your pharmacy from 1 to 5. I would like you to rate your pharmacy from 1 to 5. And 1 means that your pharmacy is difficult to find online, or the information available is inaccurate or incomplete. And 5 means that your pharmacy is easy to find and the information is accurate and the online presence creates confidence. And you can type your score in the chat section. You can type your score in the chat section as you rank yourself. Your pharmacy, you can type the rank or the number in the chat section. And allow me mention that if your score is below 3, if you rank yourself from 1 to 5 and your score is below 3, I don't want you to be discouraged. I don't want you to be discouraged. Many pharmacies provide excellent services offline, but have no intentionally managed their online presence. When it comes to direct patient-to-patient interaction or in-person patient-to-patient interaction, they offer excellent services, but they haven't made any effort to build their online presence, manage their online presence. If your score is 4 to 5, I will still encourage you to verify what a completely new client sees. Sometimes you as an owner or as staff, you may know the correct information, but the information available publicly is outdated. Maybe there was a change in phone number, there was a change in location, but it hasn't been updated online. Or even a rebranding, a name has been changed, it hasn't been updated online, then that brings a problem. And I want you to consider the following question. Is the pharmacy's location accurate when you type the name? Is the pharmacy's location accurate? Does the Google map pin lead to the correct building? You confirm that. Are the opening hours correctly captured? Does the telephone number captured work, or is it the correct one? on whichever social media platform, even Google Business, is it the correct one? And can someone immediately recognize that this is a professional pharmacy? Can they immediately recognize that? Are the services explained clearly in whichever place you've captured your services? Has the pharmacy posted anything useful recently? Are clients' reviews being answered, or they just left hanging? Is there a private route through which someone can ask a sensitive question? Those are some of the questions you begin asking yourself when you're considering an online, having an online presence for your pharmacy. A useful exercise is to search for your pharmacy using someone else's telephone or an incognito browser. That will give you the best of results. And this will help you to see the pharmacy as a new client who will see it, not using your browser that perhaps has what we call cache or cache. It has stored memory of what you've been searching before, and so it brings up that. But if you're using an incognito mode or a new browser or someone else's phone, then you're likely to get the accurate picture. And I want you to note that your pharmacy may already have a digital presence. Even if you have never created a social media account, it already has a digital presence. A client may have created a Google listing without you knowing. They might have posted a photograph of your pharmacy or written a review or tagged your location and you didn't know. Or a business directory may have published outdated information about you. We have online websites that normally do catalogs for health facilities, including pharmacies. So maybe they just collected an outdated contact online and they created a catalog. So people are going to that directory to check for pharmacies around their place, and they find your pharmacy, but they're trying to call, they can't get through. And that's a client that you've lost because you haven't checked online to really find out where is the name of my pharmacy captured, and are they capturing the correct information, or there is a need for correction. So the question then is not whether your pharmacy has a digital presence. The question that I need us to ask ourselves is whether that presence is accurate, whether that presence is professional, whether that presence is intentionally managed. That is what I want us to begin asking ourselves. That is what I want us to begin asking ourselves. And so allow me to change gears and look at something different. And that is about visibility. Visibility is important, but when you have visibility alone is not enough. Now, your pharmacy, for example, it may attract thousands or even hundreds of views and still fail to convert that attention into something meaningful that you may call client engagement. And the client journey usually begins with a need. A client has a need. A person may need, for example, contraception or contraceptives, or a blood pressure check, or medication counseling, or advice about side effects, or help finding a nearby pharmacy. They have a prescription that they need to be fulfilled, or they need to buy a product over the counter. They'll go, that's a need they have. So they'll go online and search. This person will search for information or an appropriate provider using the available tools or means. Now, after searching, they evaluate the available options that they come across. And they may need to compare location, for example, which one is closest to them, or opening hours. Are they flexible enough to accommodate their schedule? Or reviews that are available online, or even photographs that are available online, or communication style, and as also available services. So if the pharmacy appears credible, they may call or they may contact you. If it appears credible, they may contact you. They may call, send a message, or even visit the premises itself. And the quality of that interaction then determines whether they complete the visit and whether they return. Trust is particularly important in healthcare. And I think you've heard this time and again that healthcare is mainly built on trust. Healthcare service delivery is mainly built on trust. If a patient doesn't trust a healthcare service provider, they have no business of going to visit that healthcare provider in their clinic or in their pharmacy or whichever place where they're exercising their craft. So trust is the bedrock, is the foundation of healthcare service delivery. That is trust. And it's important to reiterate this, that trust is particularly important because most clients, they cannot immediately access technical quality. Obi, I think there's someone who hasn't muted. I don't know.
Hi, Judith. Can you mute your mic?
All right. Thank you. So a client may not know whether medicines are being stored correctly because they're not spending time on a day-to-day basis at the pharmacy, or whether the counseling provided follows current professional guidance. They may not have that visibility. So they therefore rely on visible indicators of professionalism, and that informs to a big extent whether or not they'll trust the pharmacy and trust the professional who will be manning the pharmacy. And this include the following indicators. Visible indicators of professionalism include the following that you may pay attention to and begin implementing: a clear and consistent information, respectful communication, appropriate language, timely response or responses, professional staff presentation, how are staff presenting themselves while at the pharmacy, and confidential handling of inquiries. That is very, very important. And consider a client looking for family planning services, for example. She may want to know whether the service is available, whether trained personnel will attend to her, and whether the consultation will be private. Those are their concerns. They'll want to understand that. So if your digital presence answers these concerns appropriately, it reduces uncertainty, and visibility now will create the opportunity to be considered, and trust gives the client a reason to contact or visit you once they're satisfied that their concerns are fully addressed, and now they're a place where they can trust your services or trust your premise. The physical service then must fulfill the promise that you create online. Let there not be a let there not be a disconnect between what you promise via your online presence and what you're able to deliver. And I know you've heard this about, especially, these hookups and online dating, where someone says that they met a lady online, or it could be vice versa. They talked, the lady had a very good photo, or the man had a very good photo, and the lady was attracted, or the other person was attracted, and then they agreed you'll be meeting in person. So when they meet in person, the lady gets surprised. This is not the man I saw online. They're completely different. Or the man gets surprised. This is not the lady I saw online. Perhaps the lady had applied filters and Photoshop and all that, or even makeup. And now they're meeting the person. They meet the individual in person, and they're seeing what was promised via online or the digital presence does not match what they are getting in actual sense. Or you've seen people giving reviews that they bought a piece of cloth online, and they thought this cloth is very beautiful, and then when it's delivered, they find out the cloth is meant for dolls, or is just, is not fitting anymore. And that is not what you would want to do when you've given a promise through a promise about your pharmacy by having a very excellent or an excellent digital presence, and then you don't deliver that when the person or the client visits your premise. That will be very catastrophic to the brand of your pharmacy. Now, what then will you be able to do at the end of this session, or at the end of this webinar? So once we are done with this session, I would like you to be able to accomplish 4 practical things. If you're able to do this, I'll be satisfied. First, you should be able to select an appropriate digital channel mix for your pharmacy. Second, you should be able to optimize your pharmacy profiles. Third, you should be able to plan useful content. And fourth, you should be able to communicate responsibly. And by that I mean it includes checking scientific accuracy of the information you're sharing online, pharmaceutical advertising requirements, because we have guidelines that dictate how you're supposed to do that, and also putting into perspective professional ethics and client confidentiality. And these outcomes, the four of them are connected. So choosing the right platform will not help if the information is inaccurate. You may have the best platform or the correct platform, but the information is inaccurate, you still be able not to meet the goal that you intend to achieve. And having a complete profile will not remain useful without a sustainable content system. You may have a complete profile, but the content is not flowing. Then it may beat the purpose of having the profile in the first place. Because the strong content may still create risk if it contains misleading claims or exposes personnel or personal information. And I want to think of the digital presence as a chain. Imagine it's a chain, or have a visual image that digital presence is a chain. So its effectiveness may be limited by its weakest link. If it's a chain, it may not be as effective if there is a weak link on the chain. It can easily break at that weakest point. So as we proceed, I want you to identify your pharmacy's weakest link. Is it discoverability? Is it content? Is it consistency? Is it response time? Is it approval? Or is it an uncertainty about privacy and regulation? And at the end, you will select one action to address that particular gap. So I want us to begin now with visibility, vizuri kabisa. And this is just before discussing what to post. And I want us to understand how people find and evaluate a pharmacy. It's important for us to begin at that point, because content cannot compensate for incorrect basic information. It cannot compensate for incorrect basic information. So you may produce excellent educational videos, but if your map pin is inaccurate in Google Map, or the telephone number does not work, the client journey still fails. They may be interested in the content, and then they decide, let me reach out to this pharmacy. They pick the phone number on your profile, but it's not getting through. That patient journey fails. So in this section, we will examine the digital ecosystem, the client journey, and the trust signals that influence whether someone contacts your pharmacy. Are we together up to there? Are you learning something? Are you learning something? All right. Thank you. All right, so I'll proceed, and I want us to now dissect, just to understand the digital ecosystem, how it is. And because a pharmacy's digital presence is an ecosystem, and once you understand it, then you'll know how to play around with it. Google helps people to discover that the pharmacy. Also, it helps them to confirm the location of the pharmacy and obtain directions and check the opening hours. That is Google. And then you look at Facebook, it may help the pharmacy to communicate with the local community. It may help the pharmacy to publish educational information, and also help it to announce services or events that are happening. And then we look at Instagram on this point. This is Instagram. Look at Instagram, which is useful for visual education. Also, I know one of the commonest content type is Reels. We have carousels, we have stories, and you can use Instagram to introduce the pharmacy team to create that human touch, human connection. And then, of course, we have TikTok, and TikTok can help short educational videos reach people who are not actively searching for the pharmacy. If you want the pharmacy to go viral, TikTok is the best place to build on that. And then, of course, we have telephone or WhatsApp line, which allows interested clients to make contact. Now, the website or a booking platform may also provide more detailed information or allow clients to take another action. That is, if you have budget enough to build a website, it will be recommended build a website so that they can be able to interact with, contact your pharmacy and all that from one platform. And all these touch points should communicate consistently. They should have a consistent message that they're passing across. Imagine that someone discovers your pharmacy through a TikTok video, and then they open the profile and find an Instagram link. The Instagram account contains an old telephone number. Then they search for the pharmacy on Google and find different opening hours. Now, each platform may, of course, look active, but the overall experience tends to be fragmented. It's sending different signals. Now, when you have conflicting information, that is the number one place or number one source of doubt. It creates doubt when the information on different platforms are conflicting. A practical solution is to maintain one central information sheet that has the official pharmacy name on that sheet, a correct physical address, a Google Map location, a telephone and WhatsApp numbers, and opening hours, approved description of services, website and social media links, and also contact person who is responsible for updates. Have that on one sheet. And then when any information changes, use that central referencing point to update all platforms. That will create uniformity. And you should also be able to distinguish between owned and rented platforms. Be able to differentiate the two. Now, social media platforms, these are rented spaces. These are social media platforms, they are rented spaces. And by that I mean their algorithms, their rules and access arrangements can change anytime. Just recently, as I told you, I shoot videos on YouTube. I have two channels there, the Health Desk with Dr. Libea and also the Medical Hub. And yesterday there was an update that Google released. And what they said is, well, to qualify for monetization through advertisements or Google ads, initially it was 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Yesterday or day before yesterday, they released an update, and now it's 1,000 subscribers and 8,000 watch hours. Now, they changed the rules overnight without consulting people, and there's nothing you can do about that. That is a rented space. The rules keep on changing because someone owns the platform. But the pharmacy's contact database, for example, the website and approved content records, they are more directly controlled by the business. They're your property. And therefore, social media should lead clients towards a reliable contact route that the pharmacy actively manages. That should always be the catch. All the traffic you get from social media, it should lead everybody to a place or a platform that is reliable, that the pharmacy actively manages. It could be a WhatsApp line, a WhatsApp account. It could be the pharmacy website that you're leading people towards, something that you're in control of. So I would like to share with you what I call the 6-step client journey, the 6 stages client journey. And by that, I mean the need, the search, evaluation, contact, visit, and follow-up. And I want us to apply this to someone seeking family planning services, for example. The first stage is need. That is where the client will realize that they want or she wants to prevent pregnancy or change her current method. That is a need. That is the first stage. And then the second stage is where now they begin to search. They may search for example, the key phrase they may put on Google is family planning pharmacy near me. That is a phrase they may put, or they ask a question on Facebook, TikTok, or Google. And then we have the third stage, which is evaluation, where she examines the pharmacy's profile or the location, the reviews that are there, the content, and the communication style. And she may end up asking herself, will the consultation be private, or will I be judged, or is a trained provider available? Can I ask questions before visiting? And then it comes the fourth stage, which is contact, where she calls, she sends a WhatsApp message or writes a direct message. And then the fifth stage is where they do an actual visit. And at this point, the physical experience must match the online promise. Don't promise and then you fail to deliver, as we know politicians normally do in this country. Don't become a politician in pharmacy practice. Your staff at the pharmacy, if you own a pharmacy, they need to always know about the advertised services and provide a professional respectful experience to those who visit your premise. And the last stage, the sixth stage, that is a follow-up stage. And here the client decides whether to return, to recommend the pharmacy, or even disengage. And follow-up must also remain appropriate. A client who, for example, received a service should not automatically be added to promotional groups or marketing lists without the appropriate basis or their consent or permission. Now, for each stage, ask a different operational question. Ask yourself, on the need, do people understand that we can help? Do they understand that you can help? On the search, can they find us online? And then on evaluation, ask yourself, do we appear credible when they find us online? On the contact, is it easy and safe to reach us? Then on the visit, does the physical service match the digital promise? And then on the follow-up, do we maintain the relationship without becoming intrusive? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself for each of these key areas of the 6 stages of a patient journey. I would like to highlight something about online trust signals. And clients use visible online signals to decide whether a pharmacy deserves their trust. And the first is accurate location and opening hours, because people may travel significant distances based on Google information. And it's unfortunate if they have traveled all that based on Google information, then they don't find you at the location that is indicated online. It will be very frustrating. So if they arrive at a closed pharmacy because the hours were wrong, that creates a lot of frustration and may end up damaging the trust that they have. The second signal is professional identity. And by this, I mean use a consistent pharmacy name, use a recognizable logo, or even a storefront photograph and an appropriate business description, or across all platforms. Do not use one on Google, another one on Facebook, they have another one on TikTok. Use one that is consistent. The third signal is clear service language. And by that, I mean you explain what the pharmacy offers without exaggerating the scope of the service or making promises that cannot be guaranteed. Don't make promises and then you fail to deliver. Fourth is useful education. By that I mean answering questions, real health questions. This may help to communicate competence and also concern for community needs. And you may do this on social media platforms where questions are being asked. We made a post, and just below the post in the comment section, people are typing their questions, concerns, queries. Respond to them. That may send a signal that you have a concern for community needs, and also it sends a signal that you're competent in what you do. Fifth is respectful responses. And this may include how you respond to routine questions. It may include how you respond to complaints, how you respond to negative reviews. It sends a signal of respectfulness, or that you respect your clients. Number 6 is a private contact route. And this is a route that will help people to channel their sensitive questions. Sensitive questions should not be forced into public comments. They shouldn't. And as we look at all those signals, it's important to remember that photographs also affect trust. And as such, you need to use current and authentic photographs of your premises. Avoid images that make the pharmacy look completely different from the physical location. And as you do that, I know there are people who purchase the reviews or encourage staff and relatives to create misleading ratings on these social media platforms so that they get to earn trust of clients. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Authentic reviews may grow more slowly, but they are more credible in the long run. And a professional response, if you get a negative review, if you respond to it professionally, it can sometimes build more trust than several positive reviews. And an example of how to respond to a negative review will be something like this: thank you for bringing this to our attention. We take your concern seriously. Please contact our pharmacy manager privately so that we can understand and address the matter. That is an example of how you respond to a negative review. And I want you to notice that the response does not confirm that the reviewer received a particular health service, because it's just professionalism. And more often than not, professionalism is often demonstrated through restraint. That is how it is demonstrated. Now, allow me, that was on visibility. Let me now move to the second part of this evening. I mean, another part of this evening, major part of this evening, and that is on the platforms. We've talked about visibility, and I would like us now to examine the main platforms. And as we do this, I want to resist the temptation to conclude that your pharmacy must immediately open an account everywhere. Resist that temptation. Our goal is to understand what each platform does well, and then after that, select the channels according to the pharmacy's audience, according to your objectives, and according to the resources that you have available. If you create platforms everywhere and then you neglect them, it may create a worse impression than not having that account at all. So please resist that temptation. And I'll begin by highlighting this, that you can have one message in 4 different jobs. One message in 4 different jobs. What do I mean by that? I mean that you have 4 major platforms that have been highlighted on the screen, as you can see: Google, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and they serve different functions. For example, Google Business Profile may support high intent local discovery, because there are people searching Google who already are looking for a pharmacy. They're looking for directions or opening hours or specific service. And when they go there, they may land on your Google Business Profile. Facebook, on the other hand, it supports community engagement. And it is important for local audiences, if you have them, or long explanations, or service announcements, or frequently asked questions and events. You can post them on Facebook. And then Instagram, it supports visual trust, and it's important for educational carousels, also reels, stories, staff introductions, and visually explaining services. That is Instagram. And we have TikTok as well, which supports discovery. And by that, I mean short videos that you can post on TikTok, which can reach people who did not even previously know the pharmacy existed. So when it comes to platform selection, it should follow the audience. The platform selection should follow the audience. If most of your clients are adults living within the surrounding neighborhood, then Google and Facebook may deserve your priority. But if you want to reach younger audiences through visual education, Instagram, TikTok, these will be platforms that will be useful if you intend to reach younger audiences by having visual education. As we talk about the platform that you choose must also match the team's capabilities. And by that, I mean, when you're selecting TikTok, just understand that you'll require regular video production. So you need the equipment. If you talk about Instagram, it will require strong visual communication, and you may need the services of a graphic designer if you don't have basic graphic designing skills. If you look at Facebook, for example, it will require you to have active community engagement. And Google, on the other side, it will require you to consistently operate accurately and review manage and review review management, or the reviews that have been posted there, you're able to manage them. So you can have one message that can be adopted for all 4 platforms. That is okay. An example will be, what should someone consider before selecting a family planning method? And this, when posted on Facebook, it may become a frequently asked question. When you post it on Instagram, it can become a carousel, or when you post it on TikTok, it can become an explainer. When you post it on Google, it can come in as a Google update announcing counseling availability, counseling services, family planning services availability, or counseling services availability. So the message remains consistent, but the format keeps on changing, and also the call to action changes depending with the platform. That's the message I want you to have. Are we learning something? If you pick something that excites you, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section of what stands out for you, so that I'm able to know that we are together. Thank you for the responses. I'm happy and glad that you're learning something. Drop a comment. I'll really, really appreciate that. Thank you. So I want us to change gears a bit and just look at first of these platforms. I want us to look at Facebook and Instagram as platforms that you can consider. And it's important to note that Facebook works well when content feels local, when it's relevant and also conversational. And its suitable content includes service updates, maybe, or community health information. You can post it on Facebook, or frequently asked questions or events. You can post it on Facebook. Operating hour changes or staff or service introductions, you can post it on Facebook. Now, a family planning service post could say something like this. For example, private family planning counseling is available from Monday to Saturday. Contact our team privately to confirm the availability of a trained provider. That is an example of a family planning service post that you can post on Facebook. And this communicates that service is available without promoting a specific medicine or suggesting that one method is suitable for everyone. It's just a plain communication you've made. Now, Instagram, on the other side, it communicates the same information visually. Could be a 4-slide carousel that could cover the following: what happens during counseling, what questions can you ask, how is confidentiality protected, and how can you change, or how can you arrange a consultation. Now, Instagram content should use readable fonts, should have strong contracts, and also sufficient white space. Now, those are graphic design terms, but if you Google them, you're able to get. Nowadays, it has made it a bit easier that with Cloud or ChatGPT that has been connected to Canva, you are able to quickly come up with a very excellent design. Now, do not force every important detail into the image when you're doing Instagram content. The caption can provide context. And then also videos should have subtitles, because many people, they watch without sound. So if you can have subtitles, the better. And it's important, as you do that, you be very careful with client testimonials, because a casual verbal statement such as "you can share my story" may not provide an adequate basis for publishing sensitive information. For example, if a patient has sent you a story of how they recovered and they say "you can share my story," I mean, that you need formal consent that you can produce in a court of law, and it withstands credibility, or the test of credibility. So consent should be specific, should be informed and documented. And even with consent, ask whether publication is necessary and whether the same educational objective can be achieved without using a client's story. Always ask yourself that. Allow me look at TikTok, which helps greatly in capturing attention, and you can do that while still keeping the science. TikTok basically rewards content that captures attention within the first few seconds, and this creates both an opportunity and a risk. The opportunity is that useful health information can reach a large audience, but the risk on the other side is that creators may exaggerate or create fear to secure or secure views. Now, a responsible TikTok video can follow 3 steps. I want you to pay attention. First, ask a genuine question. For example, what should you consider before choosing contraception? And then secondly, provide one clear teaching point. Different methods vary in duration, convenience, possible side effects, and individual suitability. And then thirdly, offer a safe next step. And this could be something in this line: speak with a trained healthcare provider for personalized counseling, and then That is a 3 steps that you can follow in coming up with a TikTok post or a video. I want you to compare with this. This contraceptive will destroy your fertility. You know, that is very emotional. It's very, it may easily go viral for the wrong reason. And it may attract attention, of course, but it may also end up creating fear and may spread a lot of misinformation. So when recording, decide the one sentence you want the viewer to remember. Do not try to explain 5 complicated clinical issues in 30 seconds. For example, emergency contraception is intended for emergencies. It does not replace regular contraception. Now, you can then invite the viewer to seek counseling about longer-term options, and avoid using humor or trends in ways that trivialize sensitive health concerns. Don't do that. Don't just jump on a trend and it ends up becoming something different. Your creativity needs to support the message and not to overshadow the science of what you're communicating. And remember that a disclaimer cannot rescue a false claim. A disclaimer may not rescue a false claim. Allow me look at Google profile, business profile, and this is the first actually digital priority that I'll really encourage for many pharmacies. Most actually, it is a priority that I'll encourage, because Google captures people who already have strong intent, and they may be searching for pharmacy near me, or late night pharmacy or family planning services near me, or blood pressure check near me, or directions to a particular pharmacy. So begin by claiming or creating the profile and complete verification. Use the pharmacy's actual name as you do that. Avoid adding unnecessary promotional keywords to the business name, and select the appropriate business category. Then confirm the map pin carefully. Do not just assume the automatically generated location is correct. Okay, then you add the working telephone number, the website or approved contact route, and also update the opening hours, including Sundays and public holidays. State it clearly. Are you working on a Sunday or public holiday? Then you add authentic photographs of the storefront. Add authentic photographs of the storefront and the entrance and interior where it's appropriate, because these photographs will help people to recognize the premises and may also communicate accessibility. And then add service information using accurate language, and respond to reviews professionally. For positive reviews, you can thank the reviewer without confirming private details. And then for negative reviews, as I mentioned, acknowledge the concern and move the discussion into a private resolution process. And as you do that, ensure that more than one authorized person can manage the profile where possible. And this will protect continuity. If the primary manager leaves or they're not present for whatever reason, then there's someone who can easily fill in and ensure that everything is done accordingly and in order. It's important to note that Google also permits updates and posts. However, it restricts content involving pharmaceutical products and also regulated goods. It restricts those contacts. So you focus primarily on operating information, service awareness, and approved educational communication. Okay. Allow me to mention something called minimum viable channel mix. Minimum viable channel mix, and by this I mean you do not need to be everywhere. A minimum viable channel mix has 3 components. First, it's a complete Google business profile. Second is one primary social platform. Third, one reliable contact route. And if resources are limited, start with Google, because many users searching there already intend to take an action. Then select the social platform that best matches your audience and content capacity. Your contact route could be a telephone line, it could be a WhatsApp, it could be a business account, a website form, or a booking system. It should have clear ownership and operating standards. And I want you to ask yourself as you work through this, who monitors the channel? During which hours? What is the expected response time? Which questions can be answered remotely, which questions require assessment, how will emergencies be handled, and then commit to the selected platform for a reasonable period. And I normally recommend about 3 months before deciding whether it is effective. Do not abandon it because the first few posts received limited or receive limited engagement. Professional trust that I talked about in the beginning and audience growth takes time. It doesn't happen on a single day. So have the mindset of beginning small and then establish consistency, then measure meaningful results and expand deliberately, bit by bit, bit by bit. Having covered platforms, we've covered visibility. Secondly, we've covered platform. Now I want us to look at something I call build, because visibility will attract attention, but operational readiness determines what happens next. And in this section, we'll talk about that. What takes us, or it takes us behind the screen. And we will examine profile quality, we'll examine account ownership, we'll examine security, we'll examine clinical review, and the way the pharmacy responds to different inquiries. And to begin us off, there's something I want you to do, what I call the 10-minute audit, or the 10-minute profile audit. And after the session, you can take 10 minutes. Then open your pharmacy's Google profile or social media page right now, or at that time. And then I will want you to assess 3 areas. Assess findability of your profile, assess credibility of your profile, and the safety. Under findability, I want you to check, can you locate the pharmacy by searching its name? Is the map pin correct? Does the telephone number work? Are the opening hours current? Is the address complete? I want you to check that. And then under credibility, I want you to check, is the profile image appropriate? Is the pharmacy clearly identified? Are the services explained professionally? Are the photographs current? Are reviews being answered? Has useful content been posted recently? And then under safety, I want you to check, is there a private contact route? Are clinical questions being handled publicly? Are any prescriptions visible? Are client screenshots or identifiable stories being shared? Are outdated promotions still visible? I want you to review that. I want you to do that review. And then as you do that, I want you to also review the description section of the biography of your Google profile. Can someone quickly identify who you are, where you are located, and what they should do next? Just at a glance. Aside from that, I want you to review automated messages. If the automated reply says, we will respond immediately, but the account is only checked once daily, then the promise is inaccurate. If you say you'll be responding immediately and you go to check your Google business profile once a day, then it means you're giving a promise that you're not fulfilling. You may also want to review all the posts for expired services, outdated telephone numbers, misleading statements, or unavailable offers. You may want to do that. And then score each area from 0 to 2. 0 is missing or inaccurate, and then 1 is partly complete, and then 2, it means complete and professionally managed. And I want you to take 10 minutes after this session to do that. And once you've done that, focus on the highest risk problem that you should fix first once you've done that audit. Now, having said that, allow me to proceed with looking at what is behind the account. And allow me mention that digital accounts should be trusted as business assets. Imagine that the employee managing your Instagram account resigns tomorrow if you've employed one. Ask yourself if the pharmacy can still access the account. Was it created using the employee's private email address? Or can you remove the employee's access and still be able to access the account? Or does anyone know where approved content and source materials are stored? So if the pharmacy cannot answer these questions, then the account is operating as a personal project and not an organizational asset. So every account that represents your pharmacy, every account needs clear responsibilities. The owner is accountable for the account. It needs to be very clear. The creator that drafts the content needs to be very clear. The clinical reviewer, if you have one, who checks scientific accuracy, needs to be very clear. Also, the approver who confirms branding, who confirms advertising and organizational requirements, it needs to be very clear. And the responder who manages comments and messages. Now, one person may hold several roles. It's important to note that, particularly in a small pharmacy, but the responsibilities should still be explicit. They should still be explicit. You may use individual access roles where platforms support them. You may enable two-factor authentication. You may use a password manager rather than sharing passwords through WhatsApp messages. You may remove access immediately when a staff member leaves. What I need you to do is to maintain a content register that records post title or topic, information source, content creator, clinical reviewer, approver, approval date, publication date, and link to the published post, because this protects continuity and it also creates accountability if a post is questioned later. Still, as we proceed, I want us to look at the response standards. I'll skip this in the interest of time. Allow me move to the content now. And this is section 4, and almost our last section as we narrow towards the end. Now, a professional content strategy, it begins with client needs. The journey always begins there. It doesn't begin with the product catalog and the questions your team hears at the counter, on the telephone, and through direct messages. These are valuable content resources. So in this section, I will turn those questions into useful, sustainable, and responsible communication. And I would like to begin by looking at the 6 content pillars, because these content pillars, they organize your communication and also they reduce the pressure of deciding what to post every day. So the first pillar is health education, and topics could include medication adherence, they could include responsible antibiotic use, warning signs requiring referral, or how to store medicine safely. And the second is service awareness. And by this, I mean you explain what a blood pressure check involves, how to access family planning counseling, or when trained personnel are available. And then thirdly is team and trust. And here is where you introduce the pharmacist or pharmaceutical technologist. You explain their qualifications and role. You show professional processes without exposing clients. And the fourth is frequently asked questions, or FAQs. And examples include, do I need an appointment, or can I contact the pharmacist privately? Those are examples of FAQs. Fifth is community connection. And this may include health awareness activities or local partnerships or seasonal health concerns. And then sixth is operational updates. And here you communicate public holiday hours or temporary closures or changes in service availability. You ask participants to choose 3 pillars. So, sorry. You'll choose 3 pillars from those that I've mentioned, the 3 pillars from those that I've mentioned, and you begin with 1. begin with one. Don't begin with everything at the same time. Begin with one. I'm trying to race against time. See, 11 minutes I'm remaining with. Let me see how far I am. All right. Let me, this is important. Family planning content. This is important. That is a core or a focus of what you'll be doing. Now, when it comes to communicating family planning, it requires sensitivity. Communicating family planning requires sensitivity because it involves personal choice. It involves medical suitability, privacy, and sometimes stigma. We've had communities where, I mean, people are stigmatized when they seek family planning services. So the objective is to support informed choice. That is your objective at the pharmacy level when you're communicating family planning. And so you should not present one method as the best option for everyone. Please don't do that. And there are examples of useful family planning topics you may consider. For example, broad method categories, or what happens during counseling, or questions to discuss with a provider, or duration of different methods, or common myths and misconceptions, or possible side effects, or warning signs, or confidentiality and privacy, or even when referral may be necessary. Now, many clients are concerned about changes in bleeding patterns, or others body weight, or others could be fertility or relationships. So do not dismiss these concerns casually. Do not dismiss the concerns casually. As you do that, please use inclusive language. And by that I mean you do not assume the person is married or has children or belongs to a particular age group. Avoid using judgmental language about sexual activity or method preference. So instead of saying, for example, come for the best family planning method, don't say that on social media. So instead of saying that, say, visit us for private counseling to discuss available family planning options and considerations relevant to your needs. That is a better way of putting it. And you can turn one question that you may come across into 5 posts. And maybe just a highlight of that. If you have one strong question, you can generate several pieces of content. And I want you to consider this question: which family planning method is right for me? If that maybe is a strong question that you have. Now, the first format could be a reel. And the reel would be something on 3 factors to discuss before choosing a method. The second could be a carousel explaining duration, convenience, possible side effects, and individual suitability. Third, it could be a story poll. Which topic would you like us to explain next? Duration, bleeding changes, or return to fertility? That could be a question, a story poll. And the fourth could be a Facebook FAQ. Can someone choose a method based only on information from social media? And the fifth could be a Google update, and you may post something like this: private family planning counseling is available. Contact our pharmacy to confirm the availability of a trained provider. Now, the content depth should change according to the platform. The reel may contain one short explanation. The carousel may provide slightly more detail, but the Facebook post may offer a longer discussion. And Google, on the other side, it should remain concise and service focused. That was important for me to mention. Allow me highlight the anatomy of a strong post. Each strong post need to have 5 parts. The first part is a hook. The first part is a hook. Now, the hook should identify a genuine question or concern. An example would be: choosing contraception can feel confusing. That is a hook. And then second is the value. And by the value, we mean an example of a value would be: methods differ in duration, convenience, possible side effects, and individual suitability. And then thirdly will be the safe next step. Fourth will be the call to action. And then fifth will be to check before publication. That will be fifth. Approval, privacy, evidence, proofreading, and all that. So those are the 5 key pillars of a post. There are phrases that you need to avoid when writing a post. For example, doctors will never tell you. that is a phrase you need to avoid. Or this medicine is destroying your body. You need to avoid that. Or one secret cure or the safest product for everyone. You need to avoid such. You need to avoid such. Let me see what I can skip. There's a 5-minute practice right there. I want to go into detail on that. Allow me look at also this is self-explanatory. I think I've covered among the most quickly. I'll mention most parts. Let me mention the 5th part, which is protect. By protect, I mean this is not meant to discourage you from communicating. We need to put in place professional guardrails, and they should not prevent your creativity. Professional guardrails should be able to create the confidence to communicate safely. So in the next few minutes, I'll examine scientific accuracy, authorization, fairness, and privacy. And I want to begin by looking at what I call the safe publishing check. SF is an abbreviation. And before you publish, always run the safe check. S stands for scientific accuracy, and ask yourself, is the information correct? Is it current? Is it supported by a credible source? As you do that, do not rely on a forwarded WhatsApp message. As we normally do, you receive a message and you just forward it. Or an influencer who said something catchy online, or a competitor's page. A stands for authorization. Ask yourself, is this general education, service communication, or product promotion? Does it require internal approval or permission from the regulator? F stands for fair and non-misleading. And then E stands for explicit privacy protection. And apply this to every post that you make, just to ensure that the correct information gets out to the patient. Now, there's a medicine advertisement, and I want to mention it with regards to regulation, because pharmacy communication is not just ordinary retail advertising. Under the Kenya's Pharmacy and Poisons Act, that is a PPB Act, Cap 244, I mean, when you're advertising a drug or a poison, you require written permission from the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. You don't just wake up and post something. Okay? There are provisions that have been made for that, and the requirements as well. So always counter check with the PPB guideline to ensure that you post something that won't get you on the wrong side of the law. As we come towards a close, I want to mention this, that health information is sensitive, personal data. And when you look at it from the angle of privacy, it extends beyond someone's name. Because a person may be identified through their face. They may be identified through their telephone number. They may be identified through prescription, through voice, location, date of attendance, rare medical condition, or combination of apparently harmless details. We normally term all of that identifiable data, or data that can be used to identify an individual. Now, when a client agrees to receive care, it does not automatically consent to photography. It does not automatically consent to publication. It doesn't consent to testimonials or promotional messages. So where consent is read upon, it should be specific, it should be informed, freely given, and also documented. That is very, very important to pay attention to. I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. The rest is just repetition. And I'd like to close by asking this question: what will you complete in the next 7 days? Based on the information I've shared, what will you complete in the next 7 days? Over to you, Dr. Obi.
Thank you, Libea, for the session. Really great insights. Yeah, thank you. So before the session ends, I'll actually pull a post-session survey that will actually guide us on the steps forward after this. if you guys will actually mind having another session, you can actually also comment there so that we can make the plans for that. So just give me a second to share the link. And also for anyone with a question can actually raise his hand or her hand so that I can give him a chance to ask Libert. If you're in a noisy place, maybe you can actually put it in the chat, if you don't mind. Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? So is everyone satisfied? Winnie, Rotich, Willy Sokoth, are you satisfied? Lisa Irungu, just yeah, thank you. So before the session ends, thank you, Joan. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Oyaro, for your comment in the chat. Yeah, so before ending the meeting, you can actually fill in that form so that it can guide us on if we might need this session again. How has your experience been in the session? What are the improvements that we need to make in other sessions? Yeah, thank you, Vaishali, for that insight. So I have shared the post survey link in the chat and I have pinned it. So let me share my screen. For the same, on a scale of 1 to 5, how has the session been for you, Patel? So for those who can scan using the QR code, you can actually do that. For those who can use the chat, I'm actually pasting it once again over there. Anyone with a question, this is your time to ask Libert too. Connie, Akinyi, Catherine. Yeah, so Vaishali, if you don't mind, can you unmute your mic so that you can offer your 1 or 2 thoughts about the examples that you may want incorporated in the next sessions?
Yeah, thank you, Michael, and thank you so much for this detailed presentation. I'm new in the private sector, so just setting up my business. I'm not so much a retail outlet, but more wholesale. So I found the session very informative. But for example, it's very, like, I'm just thinking Instagram is a good example where if you can share with us like an example, then it becomes a visual that supports the information that you put there. So there was a lot of the do's and don'ts, but even just showing 1 or 2 examples on how a post would look like, I think that would help me concretize the data and the information provided. So that's what I was trying to say. But thank you. It was very detailed and very informative. Really appreciated it.
Thank you, Patel, for that. So I think if you don't mind, you can actually put it over there. So there's actually a place where you can mention it, what can we improve in the next session. So have that as an example pointed out there. So this will actually be a guide on how the next sessions can be improved. Also, for those who don't have social media pages, I am actually sharing a guide on how to do that. So, see where I posted that. So there's one, Catherine Mulia, who asked about the, sorry, let me just admit this one person. Oh, who is this? Yeah, so thank you for the insightful session. I can see what to improve on as far as digital presence is concerned. Can you help me join them at what costs? So, Connie, what I'm doing, I'm actually trying to, so I have actually posted it in chat, but I think these are some of the things that we can follow up post the meeting for those who don't have social media pages and for those who have them but haven't utilized them, as Libea said. So what I'm just doing, I'm actually seeing the responses. We are actually concerned about how we can improve things in the next session. So Patel has said it by word of mouth, but if you can back it up using textual content on how we can do that, that is actually accepted. So out of the 30 people, I think if we can all do this, there's a QR code on the screen. Yeah, so I think we can actually pass through them. So what can we improve in the next session? Examples or samples? Okay. Like message for the platform, different messaging. Wow, these are really good insights. Besides this, not to forget your CPD points for those who have them. You can log into your PPB portal before Tuesday so that you can claim your CPD points. So I hope no one will forget. So for the CPD points, for those who wish to have them, you can log into your PPB portal before Tuesday so that you can claim your CPD points. So besides that, anyone who wants to close the meeting for us, Catherine, Connie, any insights that you want to share with the team? How has the session been? Daniel, David? Hi, Florence. Is there anyone who can unmute his mic so that he or she can share the experience, a question, how to improve? Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Okay.
Well, the session was so good, but he was too fast, so I was not able to write everything. But at least I learned the difference in the different platform, what to put and what not to put in different platform, and who you target on different platform. But now we need some examples of what to put. Yeah, if we can,
Yeah,
in the
so
next session. Yeah.
the regulations bit is now what you want to understand on how to do
Yes,
it and how.
yes, yeah.
Okay, taken note of that. Sarah, Susan, Oliver. Hi, Morris. Probably if you can unmute your mic and offer your 1 or 2 thoughts about the session, what can be improved before we close the meeting.
Hello, I'm Maurice. I don't have much to say, just to appreciate. I think it was a great session. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacinta Kamene, anything you have to say about the session, how to improve in the next meeting? So if there is nothing that we've missed, you can actually follow our social media pages, the Jipende Jipange campaign. So we'll actually be also posting updates there with regards to family planning. So part of the how you can do this, I think we are actually trying to to do that via our Jipende Jipange social media pages. So using that and also the partner pharmacies that we'll be partnering with, we can actually better our content and also improve our client interactions and also patient interactions. Besides that, I don't think I have any other thing to say. Probably the closing thoughts by Libea. And if he'll be willing to take us through another sessions on regulation in greater detail.
Well, thank you, Obi. Of course, it'll be a pleasure to walk us through. I think we'll just check on the timing and also the date if I'll be available. But thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that we have picked lessons, and looking forward to hearing success stories of having implemented those lessons. It's not sufficient to just gather information, but I urge us to go the extra mile of putting them into use and bettering our practice. Thank you so much and enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Libea, for accepting to do this, to empower the pharmacist. And okay, hi Patel.
No, just waiting to say thank you and good evening.
You can say it's allowed.
Yeah,
so,
just wanted to thank Dr. Libel.
Yeah, Bethel Libea. Thank you, Dr. Libea, for your presentation.
May I add, this is Janet Handa. I
Yes.
just want to appreciate Dr. Libert for the good presentation. It's great to touch base with him. And yes, I can attest the fact that he was one of the first who was trained in family planning. So we really appreciate the fact that he was able to share the knowledge in an easy to follow way, and look forward to more sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet. Hi, Sarah. You can actually unmute your mic and speak, if you don't mind.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening.
I was requesting if Dr. Libert can share with us the slides. The presentation was very informative, but it was too fast due to time, so we can use them to refer when we are coming up with our social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for that insight. One recommendation that I can do for those who want to follow through this meeting, we can actually upload it on the YouTube channel so that people can reference that. Is that okay with you? For those who are okay with that? Yeah. Is that okay, Bethel?
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Apart from that, I just want to thank you for attending this meeting. late this night and enjoy your week and as the weekends. So till next time. And for those who haven't responded, I think this is what we'll go on with. As you can see, these are the problems that people have noted and how we can improve in the next session. So for those who haven't responded or noted what can be improved, sadly now we can't improve on what we have, what information we don't have. So until next time, thank you and have a great evening. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Dr. Libea, for hosting. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.